Hey guys, Spud here, as always, and today we're over the deserts of the NTTR on the Nevada map to make another quick and dirty video on the new BVR behavior for the AI that was released in the latest open beta update. Now, some guys in the comments section of my previous video actually taught me something which is absolutely fantastic, and my misunderstanding of this topic kind of led me to give you guys some bad information, and I of course wanted to correct that. I can tell you guys, I have never been happier to be incorrect about something in a video before, because it just means that this update for the DCS AI is even better than I thought it was. Now, the issue is that the MiG-29S NATO codename Fulcum-C cannot actually launch its AMRAAMSKis, the R-77 adder, in its TWS mode. They must STT lock an enemy target in order to actually fire the missile at it. The missile will then go out and go active once it reaches the certain range from the predicted target, just like an AMRAAM would. It's basically a faster, less maneuverable equivalent of the AIM-120 Bravo that we have here in DCS. So what that means is I thought that the AI does not launch AMRAAMS in TWS mode, just like they had done previously before this update. Now I know, after some additional testing, that the AI will now launch AMRAAMS in TWS mode, just like you would see an enemy player with you in multiplayer. This is absolutely fantastic and makes the AI that much more realistic and that much more immersive. So today we've got ourselves in some F-16s with some enemy F-15s out here set to go ahead and fly against us and try to shoot us down with their heavy loads of AMRAAMS. They've got 4 AMRAAMS each. We've got 5 AMRAAMS and 1 AIM-9 X-ray. They've got a whole bunch of AIM-9 mics as well. So let's go ahead and see how this plays out and give you guys a demonstration of these F-15s shooting AMRAAMS at us without giving us any RWR spikes. We'll go to air-to-air mode, TWS, azimuth to 30, we'll leave it a 4-bar scan, bring up our TGP, we'll zoom it in, give a little bit of more gain, and we'll go to HSD, go ahead and set our number 2 as our primary data link track to keep track of him a little bit easier, and kick off the autopilot, and we'll start to bring her upstairs for our engagement. So they're 40 nautical miles off the nose. Flight, engage, bandits. So again guys, this is going to make single player an even better trainer for engaging in PvP style combat. And we'll fire our first Fox 3. And we'll start to crank off to the left-hand side. And we're gonna put these guys right on the very edge of our radar screen. And let's pause the simulation and take a look out here, what's going on. So it looks like our guys fired first, and that's because our F-15s that we're flying against here are carrying AIM-120 Bravos. But we can see these guys are burning hard. They're up at very high altitude, 35,000 feet. They've got the altitude advantage over us because I spent way too much time talking to you guys at the beginning. And they're going to start lobbing their AMRAAMS at us. And just barely start to see them visually there at their contrails. Come around, and we'll keep them defensive with another AMRAAM shot. We can see they're now starting to duck down and go defensive. We can see that from the shrinking circle. So there's a missile launch, and we can see that there are some, doesn't show up on the there's an AIM-120 coming out. We did not get a launch warning. You can see these guys are coming down this way. And those big F-15s are really showing up really well for us with that backlit against the clouds with the sun behind them. Missile launch, he's coming at us, which probably means that he's going to fire a missile at us, which is not good. So let's take a look at the F-10 map, see what's going on. So there's an AIM-120 Bravo coming out after us here. And I'm not sure where this guy's going. It's going to be tracking me. And we can see that we did not get a launch warning in our RWR in our F-16, which makes this whole thing just far, far more realistic, far more immersive, and just makes it a much better, more immersive experience. So I'm glad for it. And it looks like my side is taking a beating here. So it looks like 2 of our guys got shot down. We've got 1 guy left, and I'm pretty much offensive against this guy, but it looks like we may have to retire from this fight. So let's see what's going to happen here. There's missile warning. Of course, you got to turn off those external lights. That's not good. Okay, so again, back to that teaching moment that was in our last video. We just made a very, very tight turn against 2 AIM-120s, it looks like, that's coming after us. This guy back here is definitely active, and that's definitely the missile that we were seeing blaring in our headset and the priority threat that was showing in our joint helmet mounted queuing system in our F-16. So we can see that that's actually right there on our 6 o'clock. I know that my heading is more or less southerly at this point in my actual aircraft. And we can see that the missile is down to a speed of 890 knots on our 6 o'clock. Not going to be worried about it anymore. However, we do have another missile here, which is definitely a concern, which is now on an intercept vector towards us here, as we can see, which is going to be a problem. Now, the speed is under 1,000 knots of true airspeed, which makes me think that I can potentially evade this missile, but it's not going to be good. So it looks like in the intervening time there, a couple of missiles hit our F-15s out here. So it looks like we're down to an even fight. Maybe we don't have to retire from this one. So it looks like this guy's also going to take an AIM-120 pretty quickly here. Boom. Got him right there. And we got 1 left. Looks like our wingman's totally offensive against this guy over here. Yep. And is going to take him out there. So not the cleanest fight in the world there. Those F-15s definitely gave us a beating with hitting us 2 of my wingmen and taking out a bunch of them. So we can see here that this missile is losing airspeed very, very quickly. Even those quick unpauses there, we dropped that airspeed of that missile down to 739 knots, which my airspeed is 521. Definitely not worried about it anymore. So let's go ahead and go back offensive. So we can see that missile that we were just talking about is now the priority threat. We have our eyeballs right on it according to our joint helmet mounted queuing system. It's down to a very low airspeed for a missile. It is done. So it looks like, yep, so it looks like I was the only survivor of that engagement. And that also shows you that these active radar-guided missiles are incredibly deadly because everyone could get shot down and there could be no survivors potentially. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it to be entertaining. And like I said, guys, I've never been happier to be wrong. This is another, just more evidence that this is an absolutely fantastic addition to DCS World. So we'll see you guys in the next one, and fly safe out there, guys.